The EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency, describes recycling as the collection of recyclable materials that would otherwise be considered waste, sorting and processing recyclables into raw materials such as fibers, manufacturing raw materials into new products, and lastly, purchasing recycled products.
How often is this being done in the United States? In 2008, 93% of plastics were not recovered or put in plastic recycling bins. These plastics immediately became waste and went straight to landfills where they took up space. So what does this look like? And how much of an impact is this really having? Imagine 8 football fields covered thickly with plastic bottles. This is the equivalent to the number of plastic beverage bottles discarded in the United States every 5 minutes, according to data found in 2009. Now imagine a line of plastic water bottles going around the planet 5 times. This would be equivalent to the number of plastic bottles discarded every week in the United States, just for water. Yikes!
According to the Environmental Protection Agency, recycling protects and expands U.S. manufacturing jobs and increases U.S. competitiveness. It also reduces the need for landfilling and incineration and prevents pollution caused by the manufacturing of products from virgin materials. Recycling saves energy, decreases emissions of greenhouse gases that contribute to global climate change, and conserves natural resources such as timber, water, and minerals. Lastly, recycling helps sustain the environment for future generations.
Now that we've learned a little about recycling, let's dive into some common misconceptions people have about the recycling process.
The first misconception is that curbside collection will reduce the amount of plastic landfilled because the plastics are being recycled. Another misconception is that a chasing arrow symbol means a plastic container is recyclable. The third misconception is that recycling solves the waste problem. Now that we have identified some common misconceptions, we're going to begin to disprove them for you.
The first misconception is that curbside collection will reduce the amount of plastic landfilled because the plastics are being recycled. Collecting plastics at curbside fosters the belief that, like aluminum and glass, these will be converted into new similar objects. This is not the case with plastic. The best we can hope for with plastics is that they will be turned into other products, such as doormats, textiles, plastic lumber, etc. These products will still end up at some point in the landfill and do not stem the need for more virgin petroleum product. Also, this does not reduce the use of virgin materials in the plastic packaging. Recycled in this case merely means collected, not reprocessed or converted into useful products.
The second misconception is that a chasing arrow symbol means a plastic container is recyclable. This is a chasing arrow. The arrows are meaningless. Every plastic container is marked with the chasing arrows symbol. The only information in the symbol is the number inside the arrows, which indicates the general class of resin used to make the container.
There are several different types of plastics. Type 1 and 2 are the most widely accepted in container form.
The major problem regarding plastics recycling is that the different types of plastic must not be mixed for recycling. It is virtually impossible to tell one type from another merely by looking at them or even by touching them. You can tell by usually looking on the bottom of the type of plastic. There you will see a chasing arrow stamp and a number inside. The number inside is the type of plastic that it is. You can't quite see it, but this one right here is a number 1. This Hershey's chocolate syrup container is a number 2, and the stamp is also on the bottom. And this Tupperware container is a number 5, and like the others, the stamp is on the bottom. So what you have to do is you have to look on the bottom of the container, you look at the number inside of the chasing arrows, and that is the type of plastic that it is.
Some other types of materials that can be recycled are metals, like aluminum and tin, glass, as well as paper. The final misconception is that recycling solves the waste problem. Recycling is a necessary component of diverting material from disposal facilities and reducing virgin material demand, but the current system is not wholly effective. Recycling does not successfully address long-term problems of waste accumulation and resource depletion because
most products are not designed for recycling, so it can be difficult and expensive to recover and reprocess materials. Virgin material subsidies and the external costs not accounted for in our disposal practices place recyclable materials at an economic disadvantage compared to virgin materials.